All right, volleyball fans, we are back here, day number 2. It is 3 p.m. in San Bernardino, California at the Pierce Sports Center. I'm Nick England, joined by Mr. Matt Prosser as well as Ira Thor on the sideline today. And we are about to get underway with the OC Stunners as they take on Southern Exposure in the very first semifinals match. OC Stunners were able to take down the Texas Tyrants in a 5-set nail-biter yesterday, and Southern Exposure got Chicago Untouchables in another 5-set match. We were going the distance all morning long.
Yep.
So winner of this is going to go to the final match tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the loser will guarantee a third-place playoff match at 11 a.m. prior to that. They're going to be playing the winner and losers, respectively, from the second match today. That'll be the Utah Stingers against the Las Vegas Ramblers, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. We're about to get live in this match in the next 7 to 10 minutes, 3 p.m. Standard Time.
Yep.
What are your
interesting to see how both of these teams can rebound from yesterday's 5-set matches. Both pushed to the full limit to see how they recovered and how they're ready to go out of the gates today.
It'll be a great test for both these teams, but we're going to hear a little bit more on the sideline from Ira Thor and coach of the OC Stunners, Daryl Adams. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, guys. Joined by Coach Daryl Adams, your team obviously with a 5-set thriller yesterday. What did you learn about your team yesterday in these crunch situations here in the playoffs?
The ups and downs. We need to be a drag race car. We need to go straight. We don't need to go up and go down. A few things that we need to work on, pushing to the outside so we stop the outside line a little more. USA Volleyball pretty much likes to play in and go out. When you're playing guys that are fast, you need to already be out there, especially if your guys are big. That's just simple physics. So getting to the outside a little bit quicker. We side out well. We know we can terminate on a good side out. Joey yesterday had, I think, 39 passes and only out of 3 errors. So we want to stop him and Josh from passing so much and just having a 2-man pass and being able to take a 3-man pass sometime so we can run a little bit quicker transition and keep Joey in that back line hitting.
How important will be the use of your middles today, not just defensively on the blocking scheme, but in the actual offensive part of the game could be a factor in this match?
Our middle, the ball, I believe the ball should run through the middle first because we have the best middles in the league. They're statistically, experience-wise, they are some of the best middles in the league. And we should run through the middle first, get that going. Then you got Corey and Jair on the outs on the pins. And so we got a good combination to do a lot of damage, but we have to execute, and it starts with that pass.
Now, Southern Exposure is known to do some unusual, unorthodox things. They may make a change at setter. They may, Kyle D'Agostino's been known to start there instead of at libero. Knowing that they may throw some unorthodox moves at you, how do you guys counter that?
You know I'm good for throwing unorthodox moves, right? So I have a couple of wrenches in my machine that I'm working on that I have. When they make the move, I have a move to counter. I already thought about that. My biggest worry is their defensive capability. They are a good blocking team. I see a few chinks in their armor that I'll try to exploit. But we have to get everything just if we get our fundamentals down, get to the outside to block, have a good 3-man block up every now and then, and get 4 or 5 points out of our serves, then we can get them to thinking what they have to do, not what we're doing.
Words of wisdom from Coach Daryl Adams. His team ready to take to court here in our first semifinal.
All right, great to hear exactly what they've got planned here. A lot of, kind of moves in the pocket. We'll see what's going to go on, and that's what happens when you have a best-of-5 deep rosters, 15 guys on both sides. You've got a variety of options.
Well, it's the semifinals, Nick, so, his bag of tricks like you talked about, Coach Adams has got some. You know that there's some on the side of the Southern Exposure as well, so you can't hold anything back right now. It's full speed ahead, and like you said earlier, winner goes to the championship match tomorrow, and a loser's got to settle for fighting for that third-place finish.
All right, and real quick, we're going to go over the starting lineups that you can expect to see, and what we're going to see on the side of the Southern Exposure. In the middle, you're going to see Uchenna Ofoha, number 12. Opposite of him will be Langston Payne, number 16. On the outside, we've got Eddie Mushikian starting today. He did not start yesterday, number 2. And then Tyler Hubbard-Neil, number 1. On the right side, a little change up. Jacob Ciesla will be getting the nod. And in the libero, we're going to actually see Johnny Gomez starting today because that's going to see the setter move with, that's going to be Kyle D'Agostino today, not wearing the libero jersey, so that'll be a little different. On the side of the OC Stunners, we're going to have in the middle number 22, Nick Amato, and Nick West opposite of him, I believe. I think we're going to see Josh Eisenberg wearing the libero jersey, and I believe Randy Ramirez with the setting, and Chavers and Joey Jarvis on the outside with, I believe, Jair Santiago getting the start today. A couple guesses on the side of the Stunners from what I've heard. Final confirmations incoming, so stay tuned for that. Both teams now lining up and getting underway. The teams are getting ready now, the national anthem underway. One of the big things that we want to see, you know, is a lot of offense from the side of the Stunners, but it's going to be well countered, I think, by a lot of the blocking moves and the defensive capabilities on the side of the Southern Exposure. We heard Coach Daryl Adams mention that a little bit. But before we dive too far into that, Matt, what's your takeaway? What do you think is going to be the outcome here?
Well, I'm very curious to see what Jair Santiago can do for the Stunners. He didn't play yesterday. He didn't even come in as a serving sub, so he's going to be the freshest guy on the court. And a fresh Jair is a pretty scary Jair, I think. For the team on the other side of the net. So I'm expecting big things from him. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Stunners are going to win this match, and they're going to win in 3.
Yeah, you're going confident 3-0.
Going a confident sweep here by the OC Stunners.
You know, I think that for similar reasons that you've got, I'm actually going Stunners 3-1 as well. And we got a chance to talk with Ira Thor. Ira, if we can get you mic'd in, what's your thoughts on the matter?
I'm on the same page as you guys. I think the Stunners are going to take this one in 4 sets. I think they're just built to be a championship final team this year. And I think it's going to ultimately come down to the middles. Can Kyle D'Agostino's presence at setter change up enough of the Southern Exposure's game plan to frustrate the Stunner middles? If not, OC is going to walk away with this match.
Well, there you hear it. A lot of confidence from the broadcast team. We think Stunners have the upper hand here. I mentioned it on the broadcast yesterday, kind of an interesting nod. Back in November, the 2020 championship we had with the modified and truncated season due to COVID, the 4 semifinal teams have all basically returned with one small exception. You see the OC Stunners, the Las Vegas Ramblers, and the Utah Stingers, all 3 returning. But instead of Team Freedom, who was knocked out yesterday by the Stingers, we instead see Southern Exposure, who at that event was the last place team in the offseason, put in a ton of work, have had a great season and a huge resurgence, and now have rightfully earned their seat at the big boys table in the semifinals.
And credit to them for sure for you know, kind of revamping their personnel and getting some depth into their lineups, and you know, obviously key role players like Kyle D'Agostino, one of the better liberos, you know, in the league, and you know, Derek Sullivan setting for them, Chad Mercado, okay, Uchenna Foha, you know, they really did revamp their squad in the offseason. And so going from essentially last place last November to guaranteed, you know, at least a 4th this year is definitely a step in the right direction for that squad.
Certainly is, and it's very exciting, especially I think one of the surprising parts is that so many of these guys already were on the team last year, but they might have had bench spots or they weren't really getting starting positions, and when the team kind of overhauled, they added a couple key players. You also see the return of guys like Hubbard-Neil, Jacob Ciesla, Mushikian on the outside, Langston Payne, guys that might have not had such stellar standout events, but they're back firing on all cylinders and giving this team a good look. They took down Utah Stingers last event in 5.
Again, you know, they're a deep team. I mean, they're going to, if someone's not producing on the court, they'll be able to make some substitutions and give different looks. One thing that I'm a little concerned about for Southern Exposure is having Kyle D'Agostino in the setter position. When he's in the front row, he's going to be a huge liability blocking for that team. I mean, he's 5'10", 5'11", on a good day, first thing in the morning. And, you know, he's going to be blocking against Joey Jarvis, Corey Chavers, you know, Jair Santiago, guys that are all over 6'7" in height. So that advantage is already going to be on the Stunner side. So interesting to see how that's going to play out for the Southern Exposure squad.
Certainly is. Yesterday we saw Corey Chavers. If you fans at home, if you aren't familiar, Corey's UC Santa Barbara Gaucho, played in Italy on one of the A1 teams. Some of the best volleyball in the world. coming in at about 6'6", but the guy hits at about 11, 10 to 12 feet, and that's the height of the pin. He had about probably 8 to 10 swings yesterday that he was going over the top of double blocks.
Right, and depending on the rotational lineups, right, and the matchups, hitters versus blocker, he's either going to have a field day hitting over Kyle, or he's going to have to continue to hit at such a high point when he's blocking against some of the other outside hitters. Now, again, the other outside hitter for Southern Exposure, Eddie Mushikian, 6 feet tall. So 2 of the smaller outside hitters we have in the league.
Certainly the case. We're underway. Chavers gets the first set, touched by a double block, and Hubbard-Neil on the off-blocker defense not able to come up with that one. And OC Stunners are going to draw first blood here as we get underway. Mushikian, like you said, a smaller guy, but he's someone that, he does a great job at handling aggressive swings. So it's all about what can their blocking do to slow down this Stunners offense. Randy Ramirez to serve had a great starting set 1 yesterday with a couple aces. But Langston Payne out of the middle, determined to end that one quickly. A nice 3-route set by D'Agostino.
Yeah, pretty great to see a starting libero playing setter just continue to feed the middle pretty seamlessly, as if they've been playing that way the whole season.
Certainly the case, and what's impressive is Johnny Gomez is arguably one of the best liberos in the NBA, and then was kind of moved to that secondary role as D'Agostino was acquired at the second event. But seeing Gomez back in there wearing black is not a worrying point at all by any means. A nice ace there from Hubbard-Neil, follows it up with a missed serve, but Hubbard-Neil, someone that has had a lot of success as a server. Yesterday, Southern Exposure very up and down. So big challenge to that team to see if they're able to kind of smooth and steady that part of their game out.
They definitely struggled on the consistency side yesterday. They were able to right the ship, obviously, and win their match to qualify them for the semifinals, but they were a little up and down yesterday.
Go to the back row attack early, and Hubbard-Neil getting in there. We talk about back row attack. Another look we did not see much from Southern Exposure yesterday at all. However, Corey Chavers is probably the most lethal back row presence in the league. So expect to see a lot of big routes coming from him, coming out of the back row very early on.
Yeah, between Corey Chavers and Brendan Rattray, those two guys can come flying out of the back row on Bix quite often.
Joey Jarvis controlled swing, takes D'Agostino out. Hubbard-Neil takes second ball, triple block, covered, and it's going to be sent over from D'Agostino. High ball to Jair Santiago, and he goes into the angle, but Uchenna Ofoha drops his right hand, finds that block, seals it off.
Huge block by Ofoha to get his right hand over the net, realizing that Santiago had nowhere else to go but hard angle, and Uchenna Ofoha says, no, Jair.
No at all. That's a stellar recognition. That is not the follow-up. Langston Payne, someone that tends to struggle with his serving in a way that you've got to focus on getting that in. But a 4-3 lead here early on. Nick Amato, the double Nick team of Nick Amato and Nick West middles for the OC Stunners are not only fantastic middles, but also great all-around players and servers. So keep an eye on their runs as well. But ceaseless siding that ball out with a quick 1-2 punch from the right side. Huge kill for him, 5-3.
If I'm on the Stunners coaching staff right now, I'm overemphasizing the importance of a good disciplined block. Physically wise, your blocking defense is gonna overpower Southern Exposure, so it's important to be consistent with your technical blocking skills, right? So far they haven't been that great on it, and it's got to be something that they flip that switch.
Pretty quick.
They want to win this match in 3 or 4 without hanging around too long.
Jair Santiago spent some time down in Puerto Rico. He currently resides in California, but spent the last 3 to 4 weeks down in Puerto Rico training with the Puerto Rican national team, and he will be spending some time with them after the NBA season concludes. Big man sends that one long, but that's only a sigh of relief for Southern Exposure, as he is someone that traditionally applies a ton of pressure on the service line.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him go on multiple runs throughout the season. He's got one of the biggest jump serves in the league. I'd expect him to find that here at some point.
Eisenberg takes the first ball and goes right back to the middle. Nick West is 2 for 2, getting involved early. All starts with a great pass, and number 4 is one that delivers those frequently.
Well, another thing, I mean, even with Johnny Gomez playing libero for Southern Exposure, I was looking forward to this libero matchup and still will be. It'll still be fun to watch, but three of the better liberos on the floor, even though one of them's setting right now.
Talk about a better libero, and there's a great dig in transition from Eisenberg, and another pickup from Eisenberg, and he's ready to go. And there's the huge swing from the big man on the right. Number 15, Jair Santiago, dropping the hammer from the right side. All on the back of number 4, Eisenberg, with a dig down the line, pancake coming across the middle. Fantastic defense.
Credit to Eisenberg for the pancake.
Cooking some breakfast.
Set over. He kind of set over on 2. Eisenberg's able to get it up, and Santiago cleans it up for the kill.
Mushikian with the hand pass. Corralled back by Ramirez. Ofoha tips into the block of West. Gomez reverses it and is dug again by Eisenberg. Another block. Exposure set by Ofoha. D'Agostino chops it over. Chavers now 4-4 goes the hard angle to end that rally. Southern Exposure not quite able to corral the ball in a way that's going to let them get an offensive swing back at the Stunners.
Well, that was the matchup right there. If you notice, Kyle D'Agostino blocking against Corey Chavers basically means that it's Uchenna Ofoha, only one blocking against Corey Chavers, and that's going to be advantage to Corey Chavers any single time that happens.
Jarvis floats. Hand pass by Gomez. That's going to lead to Hubbard-Neil getting a nice swing from the outside, going after that high hands of Ramirez there, and sends across the court. Out of bounds, point for Southern Exposure, and we are tied at 7s. Just a reminder, we do in fact have one technical timeout at 16, so if and when we get to that point, the first team to reach 16 points, we will be taking a brief timeout, but don't go anywhere. Ofoha floats, taken by Chavers, and West gets another rip. A block touch to slow him down, and Ciesla takes a swing down the right side, and for the first time today, Eisenberg not able to corral the dig. Ciesla having a stellar showing so far, looking for a little changeup between Mercado and himself, so.
Yeah, Ciesla, you know, he's gotten a lot of playing time throughout the season. He played last season as well, so, you know, him and Mercado kind of interchangeable.
It's funny you made a mention earlier about, you know, Chavers having advantage against Ofoha in the one-on-one. I gotta be honest, I think Chavers has the advantage in any 3 blockers you can name in the league. The guy is just a lethal presence front row and back row.
Well, we may see a matchup tomorrow that'll be a slightly different blocker-hitter matchup, depending on who's in the finals.
This is true. Wow, D'Agostino with a great disciplined set. That ball was as tight to the net as it can be, and uses every inch he's got to get that ball going to the outside. Huge kill from Hubbard-Neil in a one-on-one against Randy Ramirez. Love to see that kind of control. D'Agostino currently a part of Team USA, one of the many guys that when they're training, he'll be back in the gym in Anaheim, California. So someone that is no stranger to high-pressure situations.
Yeah, just finished up his season over in Slovenia, playing professionally there, and one of 4 American liberos that plays professionally in Europe, along with Josh Eisenberg.
Yeah, I think I saw the other day, I thought it was 6. Either way, I know that we've got Ryan Manoogian, Josh Eisenberg, D'Agostino. I know we have 3 of them alone in our league, so I think the total number was 6, but either way, it's barely fitting on 2 hands. It's extremely difficult as a libero to be justified as someone good enough to pick up overseas.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
2 of the others, Shoji and Watton.
Right.
So they're on the USA
National team guys.
Yeah.
Going to the Olympics in a couple of weeks.
And there's one more name that's slipping my mind, but the fact that the other 3 are all still here participating in the NBA speaks to the level of play that we get to see here. Nice pass by Mushikian, backside, and Hubbard-Neil cannot be slowed down. Picks up his 3rd kill, already got an ace. This is what we wanted to see yesterday with Hubbard-Neil. Just event number 3 picked up a 28-point match player of the match award, where he won a set single-handedly. Missed serve there from Hubbard-Neil. Current score is 11-10 for Southern Exposure. We're getting the graphic on that live stream updated for you, so worry not. There it goes. Thank you to our technical team. Appreciate you. Great baseline camera. You can see Corey Chavers really puts a lot of pace on the ball. Ramirez to the big route, and there it is. Corey Chavers hammers that one through the block. We're going to get a chance to hold this baseline angle so you can see exactly how much side-to-side movement some of these serves have from Chavers. And there it is, cross court all the way. Exposure forced out of system, and a high ball to Mushikian. Dug by Eisenberg. Outside to Jarvis, and he swings down the line, hits that high line angle seam, and D'Agostino unable to come up with a dig.
Nice high line hit by Joey Jarvis there. Great swing in transition, going high down the line. Smart attacking angles. It's a nice transition point for the Stunners.
Certainly is. We're going to get a chance to see it one more time. Love to see that the league is continuing to invest in a variety of camera angles. Show stuff like this, and there it is. You see just how much movement there. Misses wide left. Lucky break for Exposure, tying us up at 12 apiece. No one looks like they're ready to give an inch so far. They are trading with a lot of high-pressure serves and some pretty impressive offense spread out across both sides.
Yeah, high-level volleyball so far right now, Nick.
Pass by Chavers, backside to Jair Santiago, and for the second time today, he is blocked. And there's Mushikian. We said, hey, if you're going to be up there as a shorter guy, you've got to be able to make your presence known on the block, and it is certainly known there with a 10-inch difference between the two.
Yeah, that's a nice block by Mushikian, and Santiago's got to find a little bit of a higher set.
And they go back, and he gets a block touch again, but this time able to tool it out of bounds. Nice rebound and a confident setback there. Number 27, Randy Ramirez, finds his guy.
Nice to see Ramirez repeat to Jair to make sure he's good to go, and you know, not getting down on himself for getting a second block, but need him to produce in this match for sure. Oh.
Hey, he might get blocked, but he is more than happy to return that one to sender with some first-class postage.
Wow.
He was well over the net on that block.
Wow, maybe that set was a tiny bit tight when you've got Mushikian going against Jair Santiago attacking, but credit to Jair. That's a well-formed block right
that's
there.
exactly what you want to see with that right side move. Misconnection once again. I think that was intended for Uchenna Ofoha in the middle. Right now, Stunners opening up a nice little run, 15-13 lead.
Stunners finding a nice run there, back-to-back points off of the Nick Amato jump float serve.
Good ball from Hubbard-Neil backside. Cecil looks for the hard angle that was paying dividends earlier, but not able to do so. This is going to be that 16-point technical timeout I talked about earlier, so we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
OSIM.
All right, we're coming back out of that technical timeout, and right now, Stunners have started creating some pressure that really must be answered back by Southern Exposure. The largest lead of the game, I believe, since a 5-2 start for Exposure.
Well, it's 3 straight points there, scored by the Stunners, all off of Southern Exposure errors. So Mushikian get blocked, then Mushikian followed that up with some kind of a hitting error, misconnection, and then Cecil hit his ball into the net. So that timeout couldn't have come at a better time, so the coaching staff can formulate a little bit of a tighter game plan here, but offensively they've got to pick it up.
Nice serve. That's going to require Uchenna Ofoha to send that across the court with a back bump That is just tight enough that Cecil's able to use the block of Joey Jarvis. You talked a little bit about errors there, and we got a stat update during that technical timeout. So right now we are sitting on a pretty notable discrepancy between errors between both teams. Southern Exposure has made 6 errors on their own side. The Stunners have made 2.
Yeah.
And that starts to catch up very quickly when you have these tight matches.
Well, only being down by 2 points after making 6 errors, that shows that you're still doing some good things, but just got to clean it up a little bit. You see a double sub made by Southern Exposure, and it was Sullivan and Mercado coming into the court now.
Yep, this is one of those double subs that we see so frequently with the Texas Tyrants. And a couple of the other teams are able to do that, but not as frequently seen. So what that's going to do is it's going to bring your setter, it's going to keep a setter in the back row instead of having a more exploitable blocker, and it's going to keep you with a front row hitter, in this case Mercado instead of Cecil. As Mercado will rotate back row, expect to see this serve or this sub undone.
Back row attack.
Back row attack with the back row setter. Hubbard-Neil almost with a perfect pass, but just a tad too tight. Had that been a front row setter there, I think it would have been perfect.
And we talked about it earlier with Jair's, jump serve, how dangerous he can be from the inline. He missed his first one, but that's a great bounce back jump serve attempt. Drives that one across. Tyler Hubbard-Neil can't handle it. Point goes to the Stunners.
It's almost as good as an ace when you can force the overpass. You're going to get that put away 90% of the time. There it is again, going after Johnny Gomez this time. Chaos play, dug by Eisenberg. Jarvis managing his swing and manages it beautifully, gets a nice chop shot over the top to fall in the middle of the court, and that's going to force a timeout from Southern Exposure, now down by 5. We'll be right back as they try to gather some thoughts. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're getting back into it at 19-14. Want to send a quick reminder, if you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We are always pushing out content for you to enjoy and learn more about volleyball as well as the NVA. Also check us out on Instagram. Tons of content, wrap-ups. We do our Quest for the Cup series that tells you exactly what's going on, gives you updates about these teams during the season and in the off season as well. So always a lot of fun stuff and ways to interact. I'd love to see what the chat watching the match actively right now thinks based on what we've seen so far. What are your predictions for how this match is going to wrap up? Joey Jarvis hammers that one high down the line. Mercado not able to get the touch he might hope for, and that's another 5-point lead for Stunners at 20-15.
Yeah, big swing right there by Joey Jarvis. He's 2 for 2 so far. Actually, I'm sorry, 3 for 3, I think, in this game, which is a promising sign for the Stunners.
Joey Jarvis with a float. High ball leaves Hubbard-Neil as the option. Another dig by Eisenberg. And now Chavers a little off balance, but gets a great swing all the same. Now Mercado goes off speed and a huge miscommunication between Randy Ramirez and Jair Santiago. One of the big reasons the team, I think, made a change yesterday with Matt Hilling was that Matt Hilling, traditionally an outside hitter, plays a lot of great defense. Jair Santiago brings the hammer, but he is much more of an offensive weapon than a defensive specialist. Yeah. Joey Jarvis showing off his stuff right there, though. Eisenberg with a back set to Chavers. Chavers nice. Over the shoulder down the line.
Nice little no-looker turn down the line for a point. Transition. Give Joey Jarvis credit for that big scoop. Yeah, well played.
Sometimes your best bet, lean back, see if you can get hit in the chest, keep your arms wide and just pop it up. Does a great job there. West crushes the ball, and there's an ace. for the second middle. I talked about it earlier, the importance of the serving from the Nick duo in the middle for black and teal. That's a great kill there, or great ace there for Nick West. And there's going to be the second timeout. Southern Exposure a little rattled here in the second half of this match. Some of that spark might be tapering off. So
a little bit. That 3-point run that they gave up earlier on is still hurting them right now.
Certainly going to be something for them to figure out. I think we're going to stay live through this timeout, trying to find, talking a little bit about the importance of how Southern Exposure is going to handle this late game. Matt, we always love to kind of get into the minds of the team, see what might be going on. Right now, what are you seeing as kind of the big faltering point of Southern Exposure?
Well, their passing is a little bit erratic. Okay, it's just a tiny bit too tight, especially even when you have Sullivan in there. They did the 6-2, so he's going to be a back row setter. Give him some space. They're just struggling to find their offense right now. The service pressure from the Stunners has really put Southern Exposure back on their heels. And it's going to be challenging, to say the least, to side out when the Stunners are serving at such a high clip right now.
Dead on as always, all that time playing in the AVP and as a two-time All-American out of Long Beach. You've got a very good understanding of how the game's going to go, and we see the lucky side out there. Not lucky, well-earned side out. It was a lucky break, a good time to have it.
Credit to Nick West dialing up another strong serve out of the timeout, but I believe that was Tyler Hubbard-Neil getting the kill on the left side.
Yep.
Off the block of Ramirez.
And now that block undone. You can see, if you get a chance, you'll see that the Southern Exposure right there stacked on the right side of your screen doing a stack, so you know where the serving target is. Randy Ramirez with a huge pull out of the side of the court here. Able to save that ball in a back row attack. Mushikian finds a big kill into the corner. Eisenberg unable to come up with a dig. Props to Randy Ramirez, a little one-handed save before that ball hit the LED board here.
Too bad Nick Amato couldn't do something better than just lollipop it right over to the other team, but it's a nice rundown set from Ramirez. A brief little break here to mop up some sweat on the floor. Not too sure who was the culprit in that, but
it was a little Eisenberg and Jarvis crossing move in the backside. D'Agostino now serving. Great pass, and that's going to be Jair Santiago doing what he does best, dropping the big swing from the right side. There's that offensive prowess once again. The big man's having a great match so far.
Credit to Joey Jarvis for just passing an absolute nail.
Yeah.
Off of that little jump float serve from D'Agostino. Joey Jarvis backing up. Drops a dime over there for Ramirez to set.
And that one's going to go just wide. Something I wanted to go back into here at the end of this match. You talked about the importance of the serving pressure from the OC Stunners. One of those interesting things about volleyball is the way that you can slow down an offense isn't necessarily with great blocking, but it can be something like great serving because teams have to be able to pass first. So it's kind of a weird little game of rock, paper, scissors that goes on. But just barely missing an absolute hammered swing there. Number 6, Chavers misses the line by less than a foot. Southern Exposure showing a little bit of life here. Answering back and generating some momentum is a very important time in the game to do so. Hubbard-Neil with another great serve, gets the overpass, and Ceaseless says thanks for the silver platter. Hammers it down. Here we go. Exposure forces the timeout from the OC Stunners off the back of the serving pressure. We're going to have a quick timeout. We'll be right back. We're back 23-21 after answering back from being down 22-16. Southern Exposure doing a great job. Hubbard-Neil going with another aggressive serve. Tight pass is tipped over. D'Agostino with a diving bump set. Cecil once again really paying off for that number 14 on the court right now.
Yeah, Southern Exposure just continuing to hang around, staying in this match, not giving up. Find themselves down by 1.
It really speaks to exactly what you were talking about, the importance of high pressure serving. After kind of, trying to stay in there and get through a couple big servers, now Exposure's taking their turn and they're getting some big swings off of the back of Hubbard-Neil. There it is once again. Jair is the single option, but that man is no problem being your go-to. Big swing cross court, not able to be corralled by Exposure, and that's going to bring Stunners to a 2-point lead and the first set point of the match.
Jair started off offensively with getting blocked twice, but since then has gone, I think, 3 or 4 straight kills. So he's really starting to hit his stride as well.
There it is, pressure from Chavers. It's going to be tracked down as a free ball. D'Agostino airs that out, taken by Eisenberg. And there's the pick route. Chavers finishes off just what he started. To the surprise of nobody, Corey Chavers, the steady rock opposite of Jair Santiago, just providing so much offensive pressure. We'll be right back shortly to talk a little bit more about what happened here and unpack it. But right now, teams are going to switch sides. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsors.
Flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
Hey, my name is Travis and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
Hi, I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
There are many solutions and strategies that can help you overcome holiday shipping challenges, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Ira Thor back here on the sideline, on the Southern Exposure sideline with Coach Tony Glessner with the greatest button chops of all time. Hey, listen, you guys put on the pressure late there in that first set after facing a big deficit, certainly with that service attack. Led you guys right back into it. What did you like that you saw at the end, and how can that focus carry over to the second set?
I think we started to get back to, we lost 2 3-point strings in the middle of that, and I think we started to just limit our errors here and get back on track of what we do well and try to execute that a little better. So I think we did that the second half of the game and had that late run. So hopefully that'll bring some momentum into this next set here.
Could you talk us through the game plan, having the starter at setter be Kyle D'Agostino, move him out of libero, have Gomez at libero, and just pull Sullivan and others from this match, and also obviously Langston Payne at middle today. A number of moves and why you made them.
Yeah, we have a lot of depth on our team, and it just gives us more opportunities to utilize our depth. We have a lot of IQs out there, and we want Johnny Gomez and Kyle D'Agostino on the court as long as possible. They just work really hard for each other, for the team, and have great ball control. So we just want them on the court as long as possible, and it gives us an opportunity to use our bench.
If you guys do not take the second set, would we expect to see some moves, maybe some changes going into game 3?
Yeah, there could potentially be a change. Since we put Kyle at setter, we can now move him to the libero spot if we think that that's something that we need. Maybe we need a little height or bigger block up there. So there's potential for change. We'll kind of see how the game flows here, and then we'll go from there.
All right, and the last question is game plan coming in today. Obviously a team that you guys beat early on in the year, but they were injury-ridden at that time. Maybe the biggest lineup in the league. How do you counter that?
Yeah, we are definitely not the biggest lineup, and they're a much different team from when we saw them originally this season. So we're just working on what we can do, maybe keep our offense faster, and just taking smarter swings and taking higher swings, using the block a little more, but they're definitely a big team to have to get around.
Thanks to Tony. Back to Nick and Matt.
Awesome. Once again, great to hear the sideline information from Ira Thor and Coach Tony Glessner. While you were tuning in there, watching the match going live, we saw some huge block moves there from Nick Amato, as well as a great kill on the backside D-ball from Cisla, and now D'Agostino to jump serve. That one comes up short, though, and a 3-1 lead for OC Stunners.
I just saw the Southern Exposure come together after that point, and right now you've got Cisla and Langston Payne, both about 6'7", and everyone else is about 6 feet tall. Meanwhile, on the other side, you've got Eisenberg, the smallest guy in the court, at about 5'8", playing with a bunch of dudes that are all a foot taller than him. Comes Tyler Hubbard-Neil with a jump serve down the line.
Wow, unable to be corralled. Huge serve once again.
Mashikian, getting another block against Santiago there. I mean, we talked about the height disadvantage he might be at, but that's 2 good technical blocks that he's gotten against Jair Santiago.
See a question in chat asking how tall Exposure setter Kyle D'Agostino, according to the official USA Volleyball stat page, is coming in at 5'9". So if you want to see a mismatch, he is a foot shorter than some of the hitters that he is going up against here. So certainly a tough spot to be in, Misty, but he's someone that's played at an extremely high level and using a variety of his tools here to make it work. Joey Jarvis going over the top, high and deep, and then does a nice job not going over the net, but just getting a flat palm even with the tape. Gets a nice defensive move, and Stunners defend their lead there at 4-3.
Nick Amato now getting ready to serve here. Early action, he's up by 1.
Hubbard-Neil gets out of system. Cisla has to roll deep, but takes out Ramirez. That means Amato takes the second ball, and Jair swinging deep into the corner. I think that was over the top of a triple block. Had a camera setting a nice little pick and roll for me in front of that, but That was certainly, that shows you the physicality of the big man on the right.
Tricky pick and rolls by those cameras. You know, they're good at it, but that was a better swing from Jair in transition. Nice set coming from Nick Amato there, too, in transition as well.
Another float, catches Mushikian, and that's going to be off of West. I think that's going to be the point for the Southern Exposure.
Back row blocker. The ball broke the plane. If the ball broke the plane, Kyle D'Agostino cannot attack that ball. He's got to let it go because technically he's a back row blocker. Regardless of where the ball goes.
True, there you go.
If it's simultaneous contact with Nick West, it's back row blocker.
Back row blocker, yep. Good call by you. Sometimes those little technicalities come at it quick. D'Agostino now goes backside. Cecil rolls to control it. Amato finds a dig, but it's going to be a free ball taken by Langston Payne. Backside to Cecil, goes for round 2 and gets Jarvis, who is not happy with the move he made there. Not able to push that one back into the court.
Well, nice pickup by Amato. Better side out on that second swing from C-Sled. Earned the point for his team. Keeping it close now, only down by 2.
Payne with the float, taken by Jarvis. Quick set to Jarvis on the outside. D'Agostino gets a defensive touch, but not able to come up with that one. Get some game ball touches here on our court side front row seats. You know, Southerners looks like they're ready to pick up right where they left off, still just maintaining a good amount of pressure. Southern Exposure going to have to be able to get some stops and corral some of these serves that are just getting cranked at them right now, because they're out of system more than they want to be. D'Agostino's running a little bit of a marathon around the court.
Yeah, the passing's got to tighten up for Southern Exposure here as this match goes on.
But always willing to say thank you for the missed serve. Exposure catches a breath, and now Cecil see if he can generate a little momentum himself. Chavers on the bick, quick to end that one. He has been hitting almost 1,000 out of the back row this match.
He has got a cannon for an arm. I mean, he just unloads on that when he hits, especially out of the back row when it's in system. Yeah, scary.
You've got to get a double block at minimum on that if possible. If you got one up, that's going to just go down every time. Short serve from Jarvis. Mushikian goes to a little left-hand option. Statue of Liberty over the top, drops it into the middle.
Jair Santiago thought that ball might have gone over the top of the antenna. Instead of trying to play it, he was hoping for a little help from his friend there in the red polo shirt, but
no help,
didn't get
in
any.
Sight. Mushikian with a deep float. Ooh, nice. That set was a little off the net and behind Chavers, but Chavers recognizing it early.
The ability to hang in midair and realize that set wasn't right in his window, but then to turn it down a notch and just cuff it, sort of roll it back, almost like a high line shot on the beach. What a nice, smart heads-up play from Corey Chavers.
But we've said his name a bunch, and we're not going to stop anytime soon. That's what you can expect from such an experienced player. Making the Gaucho program proud to have such a excellent player, still making waves in the volleyball world. D'Agostino now goes back to the D-ball, and Nick Amato barely getting that one over the net, just barely finishes with his fingertips, and it trickles down. A nice stop and an even nicer lead. 4 points for Stunners.
Yeah, 4-point lead is nice, gives you a little bit of breathing room. Let's see if they can keep adding to it as Nick West continues his service run here.
Nice pass by Mushikian, giving some time. Hubbard-Neil rallying back, and Nick West not able to defend the high angle swing there. I think one of the difficulties right now, Exposure is doing, a lot of guys on their team are float servers, save, say Eddie Mushikian, Tyler Hubbard-Neil, and D'Agostino. They just don't have a big jump serve to kind of counter the pressure they're seeing from Chavers and Jair. But right as I say that, they're able to generate an overpass off of the float serve of Uchina Ufoha, And Hubbard-Neil swings off the hand of Randy Ramirez, so sometimes it's not about the power, but all about the location and the movement on the ball. So Uchenna Ofoha might have heard me and said, hey, check this one out.
Yeah, that jump float hybrid, kind of two-handed toss. It's got some pace behind it. That one had some backspin on it.
Nick West dug back row by Cecil. Tight set from D'Agostino, but Hubbard-Neil nets on the way on his follow-through.
The net violation called on Hubbard-Neil. Some argument that it was the ball and not his hand, but
that was tough. That was really tough to see. That happened all at once between the tight double block. The net, the ball definitely hit the net, but you know that doesn't mean that the hand didn't as well. But either way, Southern Exposure going to have to battle through the call. That serve goes just long, and
what do they say, Nick?
Ball never lies. And in reality, it lies all the time. Speaking of balls, I want to say a huge shout out to Mikasa, the proud sponsor of the NVA. Great to see those yellow and blue volleyballs being used all weekend long. A staple in high-level play. Another great serve from D'Agostino. Chavers doesn't get the handle on that one. Waffles it long out the back. And that's going to warrant a timeout as the Stunners had a 4-point lead that has very quickly disappeared. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back. D'Agostino might be a shorter guy at 5'9", but he is certainly hitting some hard serves here. Forced the OC Stunners to take a timeout. Exposure now down by just one. Ramirez goes backside, but that's a tight ball. Hubbard-Neil tries to force it back, picked up by Jarvis. Ramirez goes to Jair, and Jair blocked by Langston Payne and Jacob Cecil. We've seen Jair get several huge blocks himself, but in this case, blocked for the third time this match. Love to see, you know, Ira on the sideline was talking about the importance of getting a nice double block on him, and we see it there. But speaking of Ira, we got a little sideline insight. Ira, over to you.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I was listening in on Coach Darrell Adams talking with the Stunner squad during the timeout, and he was basically stressing to stop the sloppiness. He says it's one thing to be sloppy on one play, but when they're sloppy, it's 3 or 4 plays. It compounds and impacts their ability to play their game. That's what they're trying to work on. Let's see if they're able to work it out as we continue on here in the second set.
A great point talking about short-term memory, but right now a huge rally underway. Corey Chavers, though, able to finesse a little beat shot inside the block there, and a little miscommunication about who's going to pick that one up, and earns a point for the Stunners. One of these strategies you so frequently hear about coaches talking about their players, especially younger players, is trying to understand short-term memory. You know, remember the good points, but forget about the bad ones. Don't let one mistake, you know, beget more and compound the errors, just like we heard there from Ira. So, wise words. Gomez battling with that Chavers serve. D'Agostino delivering an absolute Hail Mary of a set. Set now to Jarvis. Throws it over the top, same move he did yesterday, a little over the head move. Throws that one down over the block and identifying a way to poke that ball through a hole. That still a little misconnection between Ramirez and the outsides.
Yeah, a little bit. That was a nice heads-up play by Joey, showing his range and slowing it down, pulling it down. But seeing as it continues between Ramirez and the outsides, you know, still starting to try to figure it out.
Nice bounce off the tape, slow that ball down. Hubbard-Neil goes into the angle, but dug by Ramirez back row, and now Mushikian goes for the Bic. Tips it just over the top. Amato not able to find it, and Jarvis in his off-blocker defense move sends it back over the net and just wide. Exposure scores that point, now down by just one. Once again, wow, these two teams are unrelenting. We're seeing big serves exchanged, a lot of high-level play, and great offense.
Well, credit to Southern Exposure to pull it back within one after being down by 4 earlier on in the set.
Amato finding it once again. He started pretty hot in the first set. Nick West was ready to pick it up where he left off, and now we see Amato turning it back on. The middles are going to be an integral part of the success for the Stunners here. Deep float from Amato, and that one's in. It just drops off.
Nick Amato dials up the spader back to the corner, right in front of the referee, no arguing. So
that looked like it was out by 2 feet, and in the last 3 to 4 feet of the court, that just dropped. Yeah. No argument there from Mushikian. Great point at a great point in the game for Amato, and now he gets a tight pass. D'Agostino saves it, but Joey Jarvis, who got wiped earlier, gets the disciplined blocking move, bringing the Stunners back to that 4-point lead and bringing us into our technical timeout. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Meet Tom. Tom is the shipping manager for an e-commerce company specializing in unique, high-end home furnishings. Because these aren't your typical everyday pieces, Tom's often biting his nails every time a shipment leaves the warehouse. His discerning customers will notice every ding, dent, or scratch, which is why Tom trusts one company, RPM Expedite's dedicated network. RPM specializes in hard-to-handle freight that needs a reliable, damage-free shipping approach. RPM boasts 99.3% damage-free delivery. RPM also makes it easy for Tom to customize his shipments. With pricing options, and for transparency and peace of mind, Tom can access RPM's online portal for booking, tracing, and tracking shipments. And of course, if he ever has questions or needs assistance, Tom can always access RPM's round-the-clock customer service. Call RPM Expedite today for your customized, hard-to-handle shipping solution, or visit us online at www.rpmexpediteusa.com.
And we're back on the back end of the technical timeout. Stunners on a nice run for themselves here, opening up a 3-point run heading into that. Now it's 16-12.
Yeah, a 4-point run. I mean, a 4-point lead definitely helps the cause, as we're going to see a quick personnel change here for Southern Exposure.
It's going to be Lev Gershfeld replacing Mushikian. Lev Gershfeld played his college ball as a college club player at UC Davis. He's an Aggie up in Northern California. Float from Amato down the line. And Langston Payne getting reactivated. Haven't seen too much out of the middle from Southern Exposure, because the serving pressure has been really impressive from the Stunners, but get a great pass and take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have expected Nick Amato to float serve over to the new substitution that came in Gershfeld, but not the case, and point goes to Langston Payne.
Now that back row attack from Chavers, that one goes just long, but well over. Stunners looking for a touch, but that ball went way over the top of the block from what I saw, but it's always hard to tell, but Chavers just gets so vertical that.
Yeah, and there was no touch on that. It was out of bounds. Joey Jarvis trying to maybe isolate some pain a little bit here while he talks to the up ref, but Corey just missed that one long.
Payne finds Jarvis. Eisenberg pulls it back, and now Ramirez free balls it over. There's the middle activation once again. Chavers going in front of Eisenberg, and that ball is going to be going down for a kill. We talked about the importance of the middle activation, but when I said it last, it was the OC Stunners getting involved. Since then, Exposure, 2 big kills out of the middle. Love to see that quick retaliation. Nice serve from Langston Payne, a little off speed, caught Jarvis coming across the top. Corey Chavers is the serving target here, so Jarvis is frequently stepping in front of him, but there is another middle attack, this time for Nick West.
Yeah, we've seen the middles on both teams being able to side out efficiently at a nice high hitting percentage. when the pass is there, it's important to give your middles a chance. We're seeing that on both sides of the net currently, Nick.
We certainly are, and now Jair Santiago looking for a little bit of an ace action and gets a tight pass. One option, bumps that to Gershfeld in his first swing, dug by Jair. Very outside set for Jarvis, not a lot of options, but he is able to swing that one through and funnel it down the chest of Southern Exposure's block of Ofoha and Sisla.
Well, a nice pickup by Jair there. Started off with a good serve, got Southern Exposure in trouble.
Another huge serve, handled very well by Gershfeld. A little bit of a chaos ball here. It's going to be free balled over by Jair. First ball taken by Gomez, and there was a touch on that one I thought I heard, but nope, sails wide.
Fortunate
Jarvis.
break there for the Stunners, giving away a free ball like that, resulting in a hitting error.
Also, uncharacteristic miss from Sisla, who's had a pretty good match, but gone a little bit quiet here in the second. Santiago continues that pressure, and that's going to be a back row block there from D'Agostino. Ball was on the plane of the net. And that's going to get a timeout here as OC Stunners open up a lead, 5 points once again. We'll be right back to see if Stunners are able to close this out in a quick fashion or if the Southern Exposure can answer back. We'll be right back. Jair Santiago has been crushing it from the back line, now seeing if he can continue that pressure once again, or if that timeout maybe iced him, cooled him down just a bit. Goes for a nice safe serve, goes short, and gets the overpass. Big attack once again, but a bit of a miss from Chavers. That's the last two that he's not been able to find court. Now we're going to see a double sub from the side of Southern Exposure as Chad Mercado and Derek Sullivan make their appearance.
That's an unfortunate hitting error by Corey Chavers of the Stunners. I like the Bick in transition, but also like the higher percentage play, which is usually setting a front row player in transition.
Sullivan with a nice float. The hands of Chavers. Jarvis rolls over the top of the double block, but that is picked up. Another tight ball thrown into the corner. Jair keeps it alive. Free ball going to be coming back. Picked up by Gershfeld. This is just sloppy all around. A lot of disagreement on whether that ball is up or down. One of the line judges called it down, overruled in transition by the up ref. So tons of miscommunication what was going on there. But the second cardinal rule of volleyball, play the whistle.
And the first?
Don't miss serve on match point. The third rule is you don't talk about Fight Club. Mercado, or Lev Gershfeld on the right side now gets an overpass and tries to finish it off and gets it off the platform of Jair Santiago. Hirschfeld with his first jump serve since subbing in. West snaps on a ball, but dug by Gomez, and Uchenna shows him how it's done. Great transition, middle run.
At times, the Stunners can't connect offensively. I don't understand what happens when the middle connection's been good all match long so far. A perfect pass results in a not perfect offense. Confusing.
Hirschfeld with another nice jump serve option is to Chavers, but Sullivan not able to get the dig. The ball breaks his window. And no hand dig there. Nice kill for Chavers on a little off speed down the line. Stunners in a race to 3 to see if they can fend off the Southern Exposure, who has already closed these 3 to 4 point gaps up 4 times this match, or this set. But Hubbard-Neil with a nice pass, giving Exposure a bit of life there as Uchenna Ofoha gets a kill off the hands of Nick Amato. After the kill, Uchenna Ofoha had something to say through the net, and I can guarantee it was in response to Nick Amato, who loves to have a conversation at all times with anyone around him. Chavers goes over the top of the double block of Mercado and Langston Payne. The physicality of that man right there is something else.
Sorry, just watching the game within the game here a little bit, Nick. Not too sure who's talking to who or what they're talking about or what they're having for dinner later, but.
Ooh, nice swing from Hubbard-Neil through the double block, but a great touch by Chavers, and Chavers misses that one wide. Chavers getting slowed down a little bit here by Exposure. We've seen him miss a couple line swings, couple bigs.
The ones that he's missed have all been in transition. He's been siding out really nicely in a first option or first ball side out. But those transition sets and his attacks just are the ones that are missing just a little bit wide.
And now we see Mercado and Sullivan heading back down to the bench while Cisla and D'Agostino make their return. D'Agostino's been hitting a very good jump serve and been one of the guys to help reel back in some of these 3 and 4 point leads. See if he's able to do it here now. Great serve, but Eisenberg gets behind it. And Chavers hits the D ball in, I don't know if it was intended to be a D ball on the right side swing there. He just really got a great approach line to make it look like it was exactly what he wanted. So props to Chavers. That is a great example of him bettering the ball.
And now we have set point for the Stunners. Corey Chavers with his jump serve.
Oof. Misses that one very, very long. Doesn't quite get on top of it the way he wants. And now Hubbard-Neil, while he's got quite a task ahead of him, if there's someone to have a good opportunity to do it for Exposure, he is your man. One off. Ooh, wow, nice. Great back set from Randy Ramirez. It looked like he had one option to try and go to the outside there, but Nick Amato working hard in transition to give him a hitting option. Yep. Well done by the Stunners, and that's going to take a win for them here in set number 2. Matt, your 3-0 sweep prediction looks like it might be well on its way to coming to fruition. Yeah, we'll find out after a short break. Don't miss out.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
OSIM.
The flow state, the trailblazer, the closer, the do-it-all hero. All of us were born different. Some of us demand more than we were given. Some of us submerge ourselves in the wake, dive into the trenches, and fight with the ferocity of the rising storm. Some push themselves to attain more than those who came before. And those catalysts deserve and demand a form of fuel that will enable them to do so. Introducing Brain Fuel, a cerebral beverage. Be smarter, think faster, live beyond.
And we're back here 0-0 with a 2-set lead for the OC Stunners. Matt, you are looking like your predictions of the way things were going to go was pretty dead on. You were focusing on Jair Santiago as potentially being a huge key to that.
Yep.
But right now, we're seeing a very, very well spread offense. When I look quickly at the stats, we're seeing 11 points in kills from Corey Chavers, 7 from Joey Jarvis, who's also errorless, 4 from Nick West, who is also without error. We've got 5 from Jair Santiago, who had been blocked 4 times. So he's battling a bit with his numbers right now. And Nick Amato, 3 kills, errorless himself. So widespread offense. Name of the game right now feels like serve and pass for both of these teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, all starts with your serve, and if you can't pass the ball, you can't run a good offense, but the Stunners are able to do that, and we're seeing that in their hitting percentages.
Chavers, the 2 attempts back to back. First one blocked back into him, and the second one goes over the top. Sullivan, who is now the starting setter here. Okay. So you ready for the serve and pass game? Derek Sullivan back in as the setter. Kyle D'Agostino now making his appearance as an outside hitter, replacing Lev Gershfeld, looking for a way to handle the service pressure by getting 2 liberos on the court. We saw them do this with the OC when they played the Utah Stingers. Joey Jarvis with a great ball, keeping it alive with a huge dig. Gomez taking second ball for exposure, slinging it out to Hubbard-Neil, chops it long. And Jair Santiago not able to get a dig, and that's going to force Amato trying to punch that up to save it. But a point earned for Southern Exposure.
Unfortunate that that ball just sailed out of bounds. Got to take care of that dig, though, first and foremost.
Hubbard-Neil right back into it, and he gets his ace the same way he started set number 1. You're seeing Corey Chavers continue to be the serving target. Joey Jarvis is very, very comfortable in that 0-2 position as a serve-receive, as a serve-receive target, hopefully. Eisenberg as well, a guy to be avoided, but Corey Chavers is someone that does not want to receive as many balls, and that's exactly why. Ooh, just long. So that's now going to be a game to 24 as Hubbard-Neil goes ace error. Wanted to play a couple points all by himself.
Well, there's a reason why there's 6 other guys on the floor with you. Well, 5, I suppose.
Nice pass by Gomez, quick middle transition. There it is. You talked about the importance of getting the middle involved off of a good pass. Langston Payne firing early. Nice connection there from Derek Sullivan. That was pretty off the net, but found a good set all the same. 3-2 exposure.
A little frustration on the side of the Stunners there. Corey Chavers thought he was going to get that dig, and Eisenberg kind of tried to steal it. Jarvis from the left. Doug. Oh.
D'Agostino's first swing of the match as an outside hitter misses his target. You know, that's one of those things. We saw him against the Utah Stingers as an outside make his appearance last event, number 3. Got 4 kills in a row against some of the blockers, and as they started to find out and really hone in on his size discrepancy, he stopped being quite as effective. So look for this to really be a defensive serve-receive substitution. All the same, a big serve there from the Stunners, gets an overpass, and Nick West happy to finish that one off. Nick Amato's pressure continues from the service line.
Yeah, both of the middles for the Stunners really helping the cause with their service pressure from the inline.
Ooh, nice float down the line, targets Gomez. Ofoha now targeting the outside hand of West. Randy Ramirez looked like if he was kind of set more on defense, he wasn't expecting that to go as wide. If he'd been maybe a little bit wider on defense and stopped, might have got a move on that
I
one.
agree with you, Nick. I think if he was stopped, he would have gotten that dig, but his momentum was carrying him backwards and just couldn't change direction fast enough.
High set gets tipped over, now thrown into the corner. Ball is called out. A little bit of a chaos play. A lot of middle offense being established early on. No setter wants their guy outdone. West able to do a good job kind of paintbrushing that one over the top. Chop over the top, dug by Eisenberg, bump set cross court to Jair Santiago, swinging into the triple block.
Back row attack.
Back row attack, there it is, a nice bailout for exposure. Saw a very interesting serve receive option there. Kyle D'Agostino, the front row outside, traditionally would be in left. Instead, they had him in middle back. As long as he's in front of the other outside, he's in rotation.
Yep.
So they're minimizing the targets there by letting D'Agostino and Gomez pass the majority of the court, minimizing Hubbard-Neil and serve receive. But that changes his approach line a little bit. But since he's not their main offensive option, not a big concern there. Dig by Mercado. And that's going to be off the hands of Chavers. Didn't mention it earlier, unless I missed it. Mercado starting this match instead of Cecila. Look for a little bit of a change up, and it seems to be working with just a 1-point lead, maybe a little bit of a system thing that needs to be resolved here on the Stunners. So early timeout called by Coach Adams. We'll be right back after this.
Cheers, suck.
And we're back, 6-5. Exposure forcing an uncharacteristic early timeout. Be curious what the plan was there, but D'Agostino applying the pressure with a jump serve. Jair Santiago with no back row attack that time, but doesn't find the court at all and sends it long anyway. So two back-to-back D-ball errors.
He was looking for some fingers on that touch, but just didn't get it, so. Stunners reeling a little bit here.
Tag crushes another one. Great pass from Chavers. Jarvis has to manage on an offset from Ramirez there. Sullivan goes quick cross court. Hubbard-Neil uses the outside hand there of Ramirez, and the exposure train rolls on.
I noticed on that play that Ramirez was lined up to block maybe just a tiny bit too far inside. So when he made his move, that opened up his right hand for Tyler Hubbard-Neil to kind of chisel off down that line swing. So
great insight there. Love to see it.
Get a little wider on his blocking move.
Also speaks to the power Sullivan had backpedaling out the court to get that all the way across, pin to pin. Dag goes off speed, gets a little bit more under it than he wants, so it's an easy pass for Jarvis, who once again, Ramirez looks like he's really just finding. So, okay, there's two parts to this. So the crux of the problem I'm seeing is Ramirez is finding his outside hitters behind them. Both Jarvis and Chavers love running a fast offense. So when you get a great pass like that, you want to be in system. And what that relies on is essentially your setter running a 3-ball tempo to the pin. But not able to do it there, and now they're out of system. A chaos ball, and that's going to be a free ball from Eisenberg. Gomez takes first ball, Set to the Hubbard-Neil outside, and Derek Sullivan is determined to exploit the small block of Randy Ramirez and let Hubbard-Neil continue attacking at a very, very high efficiency.
Well, 5-point lead now for Southern Exposure. The Stunners haven't been in this position yet today, or maybe even this weekend. I mean, they did go 5 yesterday, but got to figure something out here and earn a side out. But nice service run from D'Agostino here.
Dag crushing another serve just wide. Wow, feels like the man can do it all. 2 sets, you know, you just expect to see him as a libero, plays the first 2 as a setter, comes in now as an outside hitter. But it speaks to the experience that Tony Glessner, as a coach, knows his guys, and while it might feel like a interesting choice, it's working out for them well here. And as a 5-point lead develops on the back of that missed serve, this is kind of the same interesting lineup that was utilized to beat the Utah Stingers. So while it might look weird from the outside in, sometimes coach knows best.
That's why he gets paid the coach's salary. Okay, make the big important decisions.
Eisenberg with a hand pass outside to Chavers. Block touch dug by Uchenna Ofoha. Tight set, but Hubbard-Neil is a man on fire with his 12th kill of the match. Goes off the double block, and Randy Ramirez still proving to be a bit of a blocking liability, trying to slow him down.
Yeah, Tyler Hubbard-Neil right now is on fire from the left side, and he's not getting the clean kills. He's exposing the block, the weaknesses in the Stunner block for 3 straight points.
Quick set to the backside. West is dug by Dag in the back row. Now Hubbard-Neil tips over the top. Chavers there to pick it up as the off blocker, but he's not able to get the second ball because he took out Randy Ramirez. Jair Santiago not stepping in, and that falls in the campfire with everyone ready with their hands out and marshmallows ready to toast.
Coach Adams should make a substitution right now for somebody just to slow down this momentum. He doesn't need to call a timeout because he already burned one, and they've got a technical timeout coming at 16, but right now, take a little control from the sideline, make a change, just to slow down the momentum and see if you can ice Ofoha here with his jump float serve.
Missed serve there from Ofoha, but as the game was looking like it was about to run a bit away, a bit of a bailout point for the Stunners. See if Nick West now can get something done.
Well, Nick West has been serving nicely throughout this match. See if he can get some now.
Dag with a perfect pass, deep ball to Mercado, chops it in. Jair, no defensive move made to bring that ball up, and that is another kill for the side of Exposure. Exposure really looked like they had a great answer here. And here's that substitution you talked about. It's funny you said it, and we had been talking about Jair not finding Diggs back row. Matt Hilling seemed like the clear answer after his performance yesterday. See if he can bring in some of that outside expertise to get a couple digs.
Look, I mean, it's just got to play some defense, you know. Playing defense is a part of the game that everyone has to do. And if that's a weakness that's being exposed, you got to make a change.
Sullivan hammers a nice jump serve there, and Amato cuts it back, but lipped by Sullivan. Mercado has to manage, and he tries to go off the hands of Chavers, but no one home. Good discipline blocking move from the Stunners, and that's going to earn them a point.
Randy Ramirez now serving. His team down by 6.
Good serve by Randy, goes backside, and Hubbard-Neil now goes line, misses very similarly to the way Mercado just missed. Chavers not chasing anybody out to that line, more than happy to let them miss his outside hand.
Yeah, good disciplined blocking from the Stunners, not reaching to the hitter on both of those plays. Staying disciplined and going straight over the net to block.
Nice pass, Sullivan goes to the middle, Langston Payne getting involved early. And there it is, you see that solution of having so many passers. So this move is basically, they were trying to get Hilling to get the opposite position through the back row because that now cannot be undone. So this is a fairly permanent decision with no other opposite on the side of the bench for the OC Stunners unless they look to put a middle in like Shane Beamer or potentially Kevin Gear, but unlikely at best. Randy goes outside to Jair, who is blocked back by Langston. D'Agostino takes first ball. Sullivan goes to the middle once again, and Langston Payne able to get the kill. This is an entirely different Southern exposure than we have seen with a 7-point lead going into the technical timeout. The boys in blue are getting rowdy. And if you're an exposure fan, get on your feet. Even if you're at home, it's okay, stretch it out. We'll be right back after a quick technical timeout.
Hey, my name is Travis, and I'm the founder of Arste. Last year, we launched the Medic, which is a state-of-the-art percussive massager. It works by providing rapid, targeted pulses into your muscles, which relieves tension and increases blood flow. It is a great tool for athletes looking to get an edge in their training or in competition, but it's also great for everyday people who suffer from common issues such as stiff neck, lower back pain, and sore feet. What sets our device apart from others? For one, it's how insanely quiet it is. Second is the extended length handle, which allows you to more easily reach your back. And third, the swivel head, which allows for better ergonomics. We also include 6 different head attachments and a travel case with your purchase. We are so excited to have you try the Medic. We know you're gonna love it. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at any time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
We're back. Southern exposure a little bit showing some nice signs of life here. They certainly haven't given up any easy wins thus far, and we've seen great efforts from them to stay in this match. And they really came into set number 3 ready to answer back in a rapid fashion. Hubbard-Neil once again serving, attacking Eisenberg. There's only going to be one option, and that's going to be a free ball from Chavers, taken by Gomez. Outside, Mercado one-on-one against Chavers, goes high line. Langston Payne pulls the middle all by himself after being established well. Sullivan had a little bit of some misses yesterday in that Chicago Untouchables match. Look for something new with D'Agostino today, but Sullivan understands and is dialed back in right now. He is running a great offense.
Well, the wheels have kind of fallen off the bus here if you're on the Stunners team.
There it is, a double block. Chad Mercado, Langston Payne, 13 and 16. Send Chavers right on back to serve receive.
We've seen it. We've seen this a lot throughout the season, Nick. When a team goes up 2-0, that third set, usually the team that's down, they've got nothing to lose, and we're seeing it right now. They're playing hard. They're celebrating their success, letting it ride a little bit.
And missing by less than a foot. Hubbard-Neil ends his great service run on a long missed serve, but nothing to be shaking your head about by any means. That was a great effort by him. Now Chavers. Goes after Gomez. Langston Payne run from off the net, covers himself. Dag falling back, sets Chad Mercado, goes wrist away high line. Set now to Chavers. Chavers gets touched but dug by one-handed Gomez. Hubbard-Neil's turn to swing back row, and he delivers. Hubbard-Neil is turning it back on. He was eerily silent yesterday, but today he is letting his battle cry roar. Number 1 with a huge kill, attacking that 1-6 seam from the back row.
Yeah, big swing out of him, out of the back row for that point for sure. Nice defense. Both sides, some high-level volleyball being played, Nick.
Eisenberg with a great pass, tight set here. Jair able to swing into the hands of Ofoha. Looked like he was a tad late. Got to where he wanted, but just not quite yet over the block, or else that might have been a bit of a back-to-back shutdown. But Stunners trying to cling to life here. Amato, someone that's had a lot of success on the back line. Goes for his float. Mercado chops it. Jair barely picks it up. Jarvis now bump setting high in the middle of court. Jair with the lefty chop. Hubbard-Neil says thanks for the free ball, and Ofoha takes a rip. Chavers chases it down into the stands. Free ball comes back, keeps it inside the pin. Off blocker, D'Agostino takes it. Ofoha cuts it back, going down the line. Randy Ramirez not able to dig it. Fantastic hustle there by Chavers,
yeah,
but
absolute hustle. Go ahead, sorry, Nick.
No worries. There is a lot of excitement here from the side of Exposure as they are going gas pedal to the floor. Mercado now with a float, goes long. But there's a lot of role players here. It feels like the coaches are playing a bit of a game of Scrabble. They got a lot of pieces that they've got to just keep rearranging until they can spell the right word that spells win. And right now in the third set, Exposure putting it together nicely.
It's a great, great analogy, Nick. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Jair goes a little off speed. D'Agostino middle back receive once again. Nice double block touch. Out the back of the court is Eisenberg. Chavers going to West here. Free ball once again. Mercado takes number one. And Ofoha puts it down on number three. Great kill coming from the middle. And the middles on Exposure are grabbing the team, putting them on their back, and taking them on a hike right now.
Yeah, and the Stunners have no answer for it either. You think it could stop them or at least deflect it a little bit, something, but they can't do anything. These are middles for Southern Exposure just dominating right now.
Stunners certainly not ready to give up by any means, but this feels like a little bit of that Ramblers Matadors match that I was all too familiar with last night, where stellar set 1 and 2 from the Ramblers, and then you just see that sign of life coming back, and it's going to be a knockdown drag out if Stunners don't quickly right this ship.
This game is all but over. Start developing some momentum for game number 4.
D'Agostino with a miss. But once again, we keep talking about service pressure and the importance. Hubbard-Neil and D'Agostino, even Sullivan contributing nicely. Gomez, once again the target, and that swing's gonna go high into the antenna. This is one of those things that we've seen now. All of the serving has slowed down from aggressive jump serves on the side of the Stunners because they're having to find targets because there's so few areas to expose. The fact that Johnny Gomez is passing over half of the balls right now is certainly not anything any team wants to be doing, but they just can't find their targets. And as I say it, Gomez gets a little out of system ball, and it's going to be free ball for the Stunners to get back involved. And Nick West finding a way to go downtown. 1-6 seam. Great kill for number 9 in the middle.
Stunners needed that. They had to set someone in the middle and prove to themselves that they can score in transition. You know, they've kind of fallen off in that category throughout this set.
Jarvis targeting Gomez once again, but there's the perfect pass talked about. Combination block, gets a nice block touch, reset. Chavers goes a roll shot over the outside, picked up by Jarvis. Mercado taking 2. And now another swing by Hubbard-Neil. The block of Randy Ramirez is just being exposed heavily by number 1 right now. Sticking with their namesake a bit, I guess. And now we see Kevin Rockline, number 11, coming into the matchup to serve as a little bit of a serving and defensive specialist for Uchenna Ofoha. More than happy to catch a breather.
Ofoha's been working hard for his squad, so he deserves it.
D-ball to Jair, gets that high hand of Hubbard-Neil. Critical kill at a very important moment in the game. Now Nick West. Serve is up, that sub is undone, but Ofoha exits once again. One of those fun little mini games of coming off the bench, subbing back in to walk right back out as the libero returns to the court. Be curious to see who the target is here for West. The back wall.
Yeah, out of bounds is the target.
It's a tough one. I mean, at that point when you're down by 6-7 points, it feels like you've really just got to start, you've got to just hit it hard. So, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, you're down by so much. Pressure is really the only option, but Sullivan almost catches Jair rotating through the back row there.
That would have been a little insult to injury if Jair hadn't been able to get out of the way of that one. He sneaks by.
Gomez, the target once again. Now Langston Payne in that nice 3-route, huge kill. Ofoha and Payne are having a stellar third set. But again, we talked about the importance of passing first. Anytime you're serving Johnny Gomez, I can tell you your game plan is flawed.
Yeah, well, I mean, Southern Exposure, credit to them. I mean, they've got the 3 of the strongest passers in the league right now, so they should be able to run their quick a lot more. And the Stunners might need to think about playing some blocking scheme games to try to slow down those middles.
The missed serve train continues. If you're Exposure, you don't mind anywhere near as much as you do if you're the Stunners.
Well, set point still for Southern Exposure to force this to a fourth set.
Chavers going after Gomez, tight pass, but Langston Payne tips over the top. A little bit of a step close there from Jarvis. Sullivan going to D'Agostino, and D'Agostino, the smallest man on the court, comes in with a big kill up against Jair Santiago.
What a turn of events in that one. Nick, what do you think?
I think that Southern Exposure got a little recipe for success right now that's going to force the Stunners to really figure something out, because their service pressure, which carried them through sets 1 and 2, is not going to be the answer here as long as Exposure passes the way they are right now. So we'll have to stay tuned, find out how set number 4 unfolds right after this. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Casey Adams, President of Visible Supply Chain Management. E-commerce growth has exploded since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that creates unique shipping challenges for e-commerce companies.
First, we have a strong team of professionals with immense supply chain knowledge. This team builds solutions and strategies to help mitigate any challenges clients are facing. Second, we have fulfillment centers across the country, which gives us the flexibility to adapt and scale rapidly to customers' changing needs. Third, our clients have access to a wide range of shipping options through our network of trusted partners. And finally, our expanded portfolio of service offerings enables us to manage customers' supply chains on a global scale.
There are many solutions and strategies that can help you overcome holiday shipping challenges, and we're here to support you every step of the way.
Meet Tom. Tom is the shipping manager for an e-commerce company specializing in unique, high-end home furnishing. Because these aren't your typical everyday pieces, Tom's often biting his nails every time a shipment leaves the warehouse. His discerning customers will notice every ding, dent, or scratch, which is why Tom trusts one company, RPM Expedite's dedicated network. RPM specializes in hard-to-handle freight that needs a reliable, damage-free shipping approach. RPM boasts 99.3% damage-free delivery. RPM also makes it easy for Tom to customize his shipments. With pricing options, and for transparency and peace of mind, Tom can access RPM's online portal for booking, tracing, and tracking shipments. And of course, if he ever has questions or needs assistance, Tom can always access RPM's round-the-clock customer service. Call RPM Expedite today for your customized, hard-to-handle shipping solution, or visit us online at www.rpmexpediteusa.com.
Focus. Good pass, put it down. No, come on. Closer. Good pass, put it down.
I'm training for my 6th Olympics. More than ever before, I have to work hard to stay in shape. I run, I lift, I do yoga. That means sore knees, sore back, sore everything. KT Tape helps me push past the pain.
Used by athletes around the world and at home, just like you. KT Tape relieves the pain of aching muscles and joints. Perform at your best. Easy to apply. Use it for many common injuries. KT Tape. Train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
And welcome back as we get set for the fourth set. I was listening in on the OC Stunners bench, and a lot of frustration, obviously, after how that third set panned out. But I was listening in, and there was an incredible pep talk from libero Josh Eisenberg, who basically was saying, listen, act like you've seen a broken play before. All you guys can play this sport at the highest level. You guys know that. Your job after a broken play, whoever has the ball, the second touch, make that second touch better. I don't care who you are. We're in this together. The only way we're going to pull this out is by playing like a team. And looks like everybody's responding. You all rallied behind that. We'll see how the Stunners come out here in the fourth set. But really fun listening in, just hearing the chemistry, the dynamics of a team, not only in the pregame, and you know how these guys are in training, but when they're actually facing real adversity. This is real adversity now. They had a clean 2-0 lead, and now they're being challenged. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much. Always great to hear exactly what's going on. Give the fans at home a little bit more insight. But Hubbard-Neil not waiting for an opportunity to give insight. He is picking up right where he left off with a huge kill on the left side. Matt, you and I got a chance to talk between the third and fourth sets about one of the most shocking statistics I have seen. In a 25-18 win, Orange County Stunners scored only 5 points. 13 of their points were errors from the side of Southern Exposure. That speaks volumes to what was an authoritative win, that Southern Exposure was either scoring points or ending on their own errors, but they dictated the entire pace of the game. OC Stunners are going to have to look to make some pretty substantial changes, and without changing any personnel, what are your thoughts? Think you're going to be able to make that happen?
Well, I like what Ira threw in there, listening in to Josh Eisenberg, you know, give that pep talk to his team. I mean, he's on the court the entire match, basically, and he's got one of the bigger personalities on that team, so good rally by him. Obviously, statistically speaking, we're going to see some fire from these guys for sure. This is a ticket to the finals are on the line here, so.
See Joey Jarvis getting a big kill and being a very vocal guy. Looked like he was yelling at Uchenna Ofoha, two Canadians that I think have quite a history together, longtime friends. Now Chavers right back on it, but D'Agostino in serve receive, and now a nice swing from Langston Payne. We're seeing a good return kill from the Stunners, but the offense from Exposure picking up right where they left off.
Yeah, a little middle versus middle action here. Got some speaking through the net, it appears to be as well, so.
Nice pass, Chavers. Jarvis once again the option, high off the block, and Gomez is very shallow there, not playing for a block touch at all. Maybe sitting in a what he thought was a hole in the block or saw an open seam, but unfortunate after the blockers get such a great read.
Well, I think emotions are definitely going to be running a little on the higher side in this set from both sides.
Mater down the line. Interesting little combo there, kind of jammed up on the right side, running a front side high ball. Not really a big name for that one, just kind of Hubbard-Neil saying, hey, put it up, let me swing.
Yeah, credit to him being able to venture outside of his comfort zone and still managing to score the point.
Some of these guys have a lot of experience playing on a variety of surface, be it sand or grass as well, and that's one of those calls when you're talking to your partner. Sometimes it's just a, hey, you know, front or on you kind of quick call, and it's all about that communication. Paid off well for them, but a nice swing from the Stunners answers back in kind, giving the Stunners 1 point lead here, 4-3. Another big serve, but that one's going long by a foot. We talk about it a lot of the time, the serving roles on teams, and Jair is really one of those guys that you want to let him just hit his biggest serve as long as he can, as long as he sees the toss that he wants,
right.
That's when you want him to be green light. So you're gonna see those missed serves, but it's the responsibility of a lot of the other guys on the team to make theirs in so he can do that. Hubbard-Neil, a huge dig in transition. Now D'Agostino gets the set, chops it down the line, dig by Santiago, and a big swing. Nick West over the head of Randy Ramirez, attacking that high seam over D'Agostino for the kill.
Nice to see Ramirez go back to Nick West, especially in transition. Help him get that second kill.
Impressive defense there mid-rally from Hubbard-Neil. Now Mercado on an inside approach line, cuts that back with a fantastic swing down the line.
Mercado's got some nice range. He's pretty cagey, shows angle, turns it down the line.
That's the one that shoulder surgeons love to see because that's going to wear that shoulder down over time. Now another back set to the middle. Sullivan's going to be tight, throws the back dump that goes just wide. Tough with that. You had Ofoha available as an option in transition. He was hoping to get a double commit block on the middle, see if he could open that window up, but does not fall for him. It's a tough one because there's not a lot of options when you have D'Agostino front row, which right now it doesn't look like he is, as I said earlier, but he is in fact. So they're minimizing Hubbard-Neil's serve-receive responsibilities. And so D'Agostino and Ofoha are the only two front row hitting options.
Just a lot of service errors coming from the Stunners. I think guys like Jair, they've got the green light, but guys like Nick West maybe can turn it down a notch and find some rhythm, get it in play, and let your block and defense do some work.
Serve goes out. D'Agostino making an uncharacteristic miss there for someone that's generated a lot of service pressure. 7-6 now for the Stunners. Float going long, and right now the Stunners are compounding service errors. They've got to figure that out.
3 straight service errors, I think.
Sounds right. I remember the Jair one was long, started the conversation, and I think there was another float serve long right after that. Ofoha targeting Jarvis. And now Amato swings and able to go off the double block. Looking for assistant coach Corey Marks, looking for a touch on the way out of bounds. Not able to get one though, and that's going to be the Stunners. You said it earlier, this is going to be one of those highly contested and emotional matches, and you're seeing both sides happy to talk through that a little bit. Chavers with a great serve. Mercado on a D-ball route, swings at Chavers. Eisenberg tracks it down into the benches. Free ball coming in, Southern Exposure, big chance to score. Hubbard-Neil is the option, and there's a big net that's not called, but it's going to be something you've got to handle. A lot of disagreement on this play so far, but a back set to Mercado once again. Rolled over the top, Eisenberg with a pancake. Jarvis now with a big swing and not able to be dug by Gomez. What a great defensive effort from the Stunners as they come up with that point.
What a rally. A lot of back and forth. Guys diving past the benches, diving for pancakes, running all over the place. Whew.
I think Eisenberg's got enough pancakes today to open up a diner. It's about his 5th of the match so far. Ooh, high set to Langston Payne, but a freebie reset. That one's a little low. Got to split the difference there. Jarvis once again tipped over the top and dug. Now Gomez goes for a quick Vic set to D'Agostino, hand dug by Ramirez. Jair tracks it down, hits the ceiling. Free ball coming from Chavers. Gomez takes care of it, and Hubbard-Neil hammers high. Nice deflection off the block. And Jair Santiago gets his turn. Mercado now deflects it. Gomez tracks it down.
Wow.
Hubbard-Neil looks for the Hail Mary. Bump set backwards. Eisenberg takes care of it. Big route from Chavers, and he finishes the point on an absolutely amazing back row attack.
Wow, what a play by both sides. I mean, just applaud the good volleyball right now.
You'd love to see it. Yeah, those are two of the best rallies we have seen, and putting them back to back, giving the fans at home a real treat and giving us something to love here on the sideline. Just a reminder, my name is Nick England. I'm here with Matt Prosser, Ira Thor on the sideline. You're here seeing the NVA USA 2021 championship weekend underway. This is the first semifinal match against the OC Stunners against Team Southern Exposure. After this, at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, you're going to see the Las Vegas Ramblers and Utah Stingers battle it out to play whoever wins here today.
A lot on the line right now, Nick.
D'Agostino with another big route. Ball sits on the plane of the net. Gomez with a jumping hand set from back row. Another back one, and D'Agostino on a full commit defensive route, not able to find the dig with Amato, finding another critical kill, giving the Stunners a 4-point lead, and I would not be surprised if we see a timeout coming from Coach Tony Glessner.
Well, 4-point lead here for the Stunners. Chavers now back to jump serve. Whatever Eisenberg said between sets has helped his squad out a little bit, seems to be. Oh!
Ooh, huge double block of Nick Amato, letting him know he's ready to eat. Joey Jarvis sets a great block on the pin. Exposure a little rattled here, it seems, looking for an answer. Down by 5. And that's going to be the timeout called. A lot of things to be problem solved here, but we'll be right back after a quick timeout to get another big bite of the action. Stay tuned. And we're back, 12-7, the OC Stunners with a nice lead. This has been a fantastic match so far, both teams refusing to give an inch. If you love what you're seeing, you want to support the league, support the players, and check out more NBA action, be sure to like and subscribe to the match going on, and check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere else social media. Huge middle attack from Langston Payne. Sullivan 8 feet off the net, throws that over his right shoulder, and Langston Payne has a window the size of a bay window, ready to take that swing and put it down.
Thought you were going to say he's got a window the size of a firehouse door.
I mean, you would not be wrong. That thing is very easy for a guy like Sullivan to get involved with. Now Amato tipping over the top. Langston Payne with a miscommunication on Hubbard-Neil about who's going to take that one. A little bit of a lucky break. Amato with a short float, taken by Gomez. Mercado opens it up and put some pace on that ball. Amato unable to handle the heat, and if you can't handle the heat, you should probably get out of the kitchen. Amato, grab some bench.
Nick Amato in the right spot, just arms not quite away from his body for that one.
Hubbard-Neil catches the tape, and Eisenberg's ready for it. Backside to Santiago. Gomez, in turn, can't handle the heat. Get out of the kitchen, Gomez.
Jair hadn't said his name in a little while. Nice to see him get back on track.
And serving substitution now. Hilling going to be coming in for Santiago. Be interested to see the capacity in which this goes. Maybe it's just a back row defensive sub. You know, you normally will see, sometimes you'll see that for an outside or to get a better serve receiver. But curious to see what Hilling goes for. Keeps this float serve in. And Hubbard-Neil goes for a big attack, goes wide. Early on, we were critical of the Stunners' inability to control some of their serves with untimely errors, but they have since ceased to continue those mistakes and are now continuing to control the match through a well-formed offense and side-out defense. Mercado on a quick route, lift by Eisenberg. Jarvis goes to the right side. Unfortunately, the entire court had crashed on Eisenberg to help read off the ceiling like they should, but just unfortunate.
Yeah, bad break there. Ball actually came off of the ceiling with a little bit of pace behind it.
Yeah, it did. Eisenberg with a nice little one-handed punch to pop that up. One-handed set to Jarvis with a one-handed dig to Hubbard-Neil. Langston Payne keeps it alive. D'Agostino chops one in, but that's dug by Hilling. And now Jarvis goes deep once again, finds the corner. And maybe that right there is the example of why Matt Hilling was subbed in. You see him helping out on defense there, and something we haven't seen Jair be able to connect with in the past. But a 6-point lead for the Stunners. That's going to bring us into our technical timeout. We'll be right back.
OSIM.
All right, we're back. OC Stunners feel like they have been able to grab the steering wheel once again and get back in control of the ship. All heading in the right direction, whether it be on the words of Eisenberg or the fact that this team just has a wealth of experience and the guys figuring out how they want to win the game. Mercado gets that set. Hubbard-Neil laying out.
Mercado having a little bit of fun there.
Yep.
Played it off nicely, but not gonna get that call, Chad.
Trying to keep some spirits high, slow the play down, or just all around, you know, score another point. Jarvis, a little bit of a knuckleball in that attempted hybrid, sends it long, misses very, very narrowly.
Mercado with a jump float, passed by Chavers. There's Nick West in the back quick, controlled. Oh, Foha with his quick attack for the kill. So a little quick attacker, touche, back and forth. That one going in favor of Southern Exposures.
Mercado going after Chavers there. Brandy with one option, double block, and that's going to be in down the line. Chavers missed that swing 2 sets ago, twice in a row, but this time it is dialed in.
Stunners inching towards that 20-point barrier now. Too short, but with a 6-point lead.
West hammering a ball. Ofoha low set, the disciplined block of the two-time Cal State Long Beach national champion. Nick Amato throws it right back down.
Well, started off with that great serve from Nick West, and Nick Amato getting the benefits of that.
Down by 7. This feels like one more point might just be a nail in the coffin right now. If Nick West is able to get one more great serve, and there it is, gets the overpass. Amato takes free ball in system, and Chavers hammers it deep for the kill. It feels like this one might be all but over, Matt.
Well, it's not over till it's over, but it's definitely getting close as we see a personnel change.
Lev Gershfeld now coming into the right side. They're going to be going to a 4-man serve receive. Oh, 3-man, but they're going to step Hubbard-Neil out of it. So looking for a bit of a passing sub. I think, like you said, just using it to slow the game down. And since he's back row, not really using the D-ball too much. They get a touch. And as they say, they got no D-balls. He gets set, but reset and covered by Hubbard-Neil. And there's another block. Nick Amato is going off right now.
Nick West on a nice service run right now. Seeing Southern Exposure try to counteract it. Unsuccessfully thus far. So here comes West's jump serve for an ace down the line. A big celebration from Nick West. That was a nice serve, Nick. Nice.
Oh, it was a phenomenal one, and energy to boot. One of my fun favorite facts about Nick West, the way he measures his coffee is not in cups, but in pots. It's how many pots of coffee has he had per day. That guy is a caffeine fiend, and you see his energy right there, bolstering the already rolling Stunners. Lucky bounce off the tape, catches Gershfeld. West takes his own overpass, and now Jarvis on the big route. Gershfeld backpedaling once again. We talked a little bit about that earlier, the importance of being set on defense.
Joey Jarvis on the bick. We haven't seen that much today, but when you've got a 10, 11-point lead, you can reach out and try a few new things.
There it is for Gershfeld, and now a misconnection. Dag tries to save it, but 4 contacts as that tight ball cannot be sent over, and the sun is setting in Florida right now. Maybe not yet, actually, but I mean, it was metaphorical.
Oh, you meant for Southern Exposure?
Southern Exposure.
Oh,
yeah.
I see what you did there.
It's trying to be poetic, but factually probably quite incorrect. West just misses that last one, but now at 24-13.
Summertime, though. Match point number 2 now for OC Stunners.
And that's it. D'Agostino knows he's got to put a lot of pressure on the serve, but unable to do so. OC Stunners punches their ticket to the championship match tomorrow at 2 p.m. A well-earned win from them. A little bit of a gut check there in the 3rd set. We've seen that for a couple teams, like you said, you know, making sure they're not getting lost on their way, but the team came together and certainly handled business here in the 4th set, returning an even more devastating blow than they were handed in the 3rd to Southern Exposure.
Well, you and I were both predicted Stunners victory in 4 sets. That's what we saw, so kudos to you two. I thought I had it all wrapped up until that 3rd set
yeah, you were on track.
Credit to the Stunners for figuring it out right in the ship. Josh Eisenberg sounds like he had a big part of that action in between sets 3 and 4, and his team responded. So the Stunners will now get to sit back and relax and watch semifinal number 2. That's set to start in just over an hour.
Yeah, and that's going to be the Utah Stingers taking on the Las Vegas Ramblers. Winner of that obviously taking on the very excited OC Stunners. OC Stunners took a loss in the 2020 championships against the Utah Stingers. So there's a chance right now that we're looking for a repeat championship match from 2020. So, you know, it's certainly an exciting one. And you see the three I mentioned earlier, 3 of the top 4 teams from that remaining. So Exposure now, while they are technically out in pursuit of gold, they will still get a chance to play again tomorrow against the loser of that match. So that's why that day 1 win was so important. So then you didn't end up spending 2 days watching some volleyball out here without any to play yourself.
Let's talk about the Stunners a little bit. Okay, so they punched their ticket to the finals. What's your takeaways on what are some of their strengths, what they need to do again tomorrow, but what are some of the keys they might need to think about and work on before, and we're just talking about themselves, not who they may play, but just what they need to change tomorrow if they hope to raise that NBA Cup.
I think across the board, they're one of the best serving teams. They're just absolute all-stars there. And what I think is one of the most interesting telling strengths and weaknesses of the team is they're kind of inconsistent as a team across the board who their hitters are. However, the one thing that I can guarantee you is at any given time, at least one of their guys is ready to get kills, and not just a couple. They have guys that now across the entire weekend have had individual set performances getting 7 and 8 kills at an unheard of level, virtually winning a set by themselves. We saw it all day yesterday, and we're going to see it from our guy that was the man of the match right now, Ira Thor, getting ready on the sideline with Nick Amato, the middle blocker, who had a stellar match. Over to you guys, Ira. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. Joined by our man of the match, Nick Amato. Your team is playing in the championship tomorrow at 2 p.m. How do you feel right now?
We're fired up. You know, both these teams I'm about to play are pretty incredible teams. They've put together some really good rosters. So, you know, but if we just come out and just focus on us, you know, I have no doubt that we can put up a real good fight.
You guys, after the way you started the year, obviously a very different team then, very injury-ridden, to come together, can you talk about the chemistry of this team right now and just the camaraderie, how you guys are playing so well as a group?
Yeah, you know, a lot of it is because a lot of the players on our team have a lot of experience, right? So there's a standard that's held by each other and, like, to yourself. And if you're not playing up to that standard, you can kind of see the frustration start to appear on the court. And we all accept that, you know, and we're all there to support each other because we all know how well each one of these players can play because of the experience. So it brings together the team. It's a little different dynamic than what most people are used to, but once you get at a higher level of volleyball, you got to learn how to hold yourself accountable.
Now, I watch you guys a lot on the sideline throughout the season. You're usually one of the guys who's often very vocal, trying to get your guys up, you know, changing course once you make mistakes. After that third set, I watched Josh Eisenberg give the team a pep talk. Can you just talk about just the message when you have one of the team leaders, after you face some adversity, come in and give you guys that kind of a boost?
Yeah, you know, well, Josh is an exceptional volleyball player, and he has an incredibly high IQ. So when he talks, you listen. And so he was essentially just telling us, like, we need to just fire ourselves back up. Right, we need to start blocking a couple more balls. We need to start digging some more balls, and we need to start turning the ball on offense, you know, and start scoring in transition. And he was telling us that just go up, let the front row do our thing, and he's got our back. And clearly he did, because out of left back, he dug almost everything that went right at him. So it was a great pep talk, and it fired everyone up.
Just looking at the stats, some exceptional numbers here. Corey Chavers had 15 kills, 12 kills out of Joey Jarvis. Obviously, Nick West has a great match. You were the leader today, plus 11. Just talk about everybody right now, how they're contributing. You have so many different weapons, which is going to make this squad a very tough outcome in the final tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that we have an offense where we can really spread the ball out. I mean, clearly you guys saw yesterday with Corey going off and basically winning a match by himself. If that doesn't work out, then we have our middles, we have our opposites, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I have full faith that Corey Chavers will be the offensive weapon that he was literally born to be, but when it comes down to it, we're very lucky to have a very spreadable offense, and we're also very lucky to have some setters that know that, right? So once it starts getting down to the wire, we can start moving the ball around a lot, and it's really going to shake some defenses.
Yeah, that's some great insight just about the depth that you guys have. Last question is going to the finals now tomorrow. A team, either way, you're going to face a team that is going to be a very difficult out. Las Vegas is a very good squad. Utah is the defending champion. What's your mindset? What is the team's mindset as well going in? You've gotten this far now. I
mean, there's only one mindset that is, and that's we got to win. I mean, it's you can come out, you can have all the strategies you want, you can try and break down all the numbers you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't play hard at this level, you're going to lose, right? And points will be scored by the other team. You'll score some high momentum points, but it's just about worrying your side on your side and executing. And whichever team executes the best is going to win at the end of the day. So we're going to just focus on us.
Some great insights from our man of the match, Nick Amato, plus 11. The OC Stunners are heading to the championship tomorrow at 2 p.m. Winner against Vegas or the Utah Stingers. We'll see you tomorrow.
What a great interview. Love hearing from that guy, one of the products of Long Beach Steak. Like we said before, you can hear just he has such a healthy understanding of the game. One of those guys that Alan Knipe has put so much of his, intelligence as a coach, and you just see that Nick Amato really reflects it as a player and is a huge part of that Stunners offense. And more importantly, there we saw 5 blocks as the defense. Great job by him. I'm Nick England. This is Matt Prosser. That was Ira Thor. We're going to be right back here in about an hour's time. Second semifinal match, Utah Stingers and Las Vegas Ramblers. That's going to do it for me. You guys are going to take it away. That's going to be a great match. Tune in, volleyball fans. You don't want to miss out. We'll see you then.